The Lady Vols are back in the rankings and back on Rocky Top to welcome in a Georgia Bulldog team with only one loss on the season. We are so proud to kick off We Back Pat Week, celebrating Pat Summitt and her continued impact on women's basketball on and off the court. Courtney Lau with national championship winning head coach Carolyn Peck, and this Georgia Lady Bulldogs team comes in with a senior who is finally healthy. We're talking about Q Morrison.
And having a healthy Q Morrison means you have another option at the point position and you push in transition. Q Morrison has done a terrific job of getting this team out and running in transition and reading her options. You look, you've got two shooters in the corner, but Q Morrison sees the high percentage shot and finds Nicholson, the post player, running. That's the highest percentage shot there. Get the easy two. But the other thing that Q Morrison does in the half court is not only deliver the basketball, but put it in a scoring position. She leads Jenna Stady, so Jenna doesn't have to put the ball on the floor. She can just go up for the score. So when you look at Q Morrison bringing almost 10 points a game, 4 assists a game, that's a reason that the Georgia offense has increased this season.
It's no secret that Tennessee is a tall team, and they can use that size in the paint to their advantage.
And Kelly Harper has done a terrific job of convincing her players, listen, get the ball in the paint. You don't have to shoot it every time it's in the paint, but make the defense bite. And when the defense collapses in, that'll give your shooters more time on the perimeter. But the leading thing that Tennessee has to do is have their post players working early. And Cassie Kushkatawa does a nice job. Early offense, post up, go straight inside, get the easy two.
If you're a Tennessee fan, you know about this. Big post presence and rebounding. That goes back to old Tennessee under Pat Summitt, and this team really good at both of those. Tennessee and Georgia both with one loss each. Tennessee has not lost in SEC play. Right to the paint they go, and Rennia Davis, an easy bucket off the jump.
Rennia Davis needs to get going early for Tennessee. She had a terrific game against Arkansas and then only 8 points against LSU.
Tennessee's lineup will stay the same. We saw them make the change before that Indiana game. Jordan Horston in the lineup running point guard to start it, and Tennessee has looked a lot better with her out on the floor.
Tennessee has already flexed their muscle offensively, looking to go inside with their size. And then defensively, we talked to Joni Taylor, and she said the key, we talked to Kelly Harper, and she said the key of guarding Georgia, you cannot let Jenna Stady touch the ball inside.
So far, Georgia's already turned it over a couple of times. This is going to be a really big test for Jenna Stady, number 14 in red for Georgia, to see how she fares against the size of Tennessee.
Well, the thing that Jenna Stady has got to do is she's got to position early. When you're going against the length of Tennessee, you can't catch it and figure it out. That's going to be too late.
Gabby Connolly swings it over to Q Morrison. And Georgia's just come up with empty possessions. A week ago today, Tennessee upset a ranked Arkansas team, one of the best games that we have seen Tennessee play in a very long time. And then this Lady Vol team looked a lot different against LSU on Sunday.
Well, the thing against Arkansas that Tennessee did so well is what they did that possession. In patience, moving the basketball, not forcing things, not taking bad shots, but getting the shots they want, especially in that orange area.
Maya Caldwell with the rebound and the putback. Georgia on the board.
Keep an eye on Rennia Davis. One of the things, the difference between her production in the Arkansas game and the LSU game, Kelly Harper took part responsibility for that, said we got to move Rennia Davis around.
Davis much better when she's on the move rather than just sitting in one spot waiting to get the basketball and shoot. Here's Marta Suarez, the freshman out of Spain. Tamari Key from the elbow.
Again, every shot for Tennessee, where has it been taken from? In the paint. You know, and I asked Kelly Harper, I said, how did you finally convince your team, your players, to go to the paint? And she said they finally understand. I'm not calling offenses just for the sake of calling offenses. There's a rhyme and a reason, and now the players have bought in.
Well, that also comes with this being year 2 under Kelly Harper. Last year was a lot of learning. What did the coaches expect? What was the system we're going to run? And now the players come back a year in. They know the expectations. They know what they're trying to do, and that's made a huge difference.
Well, and there's also building in trust. A lot of players, when you come to Tennessee, you want to get your shine. You want to score the basket. You want to pull the trigger. But now Kelly Harper's like, when you come to Tennessee, your focus has to be you want to win. You do and play in within the strategy of what it takes to win. And when you win, that's when your shine will come.
Second season for the former Kelly Jolly. Now Kelly Harper taking over her alma mater. Previously at Missouri State, made a trip to the Sweet 16 with that group before coming back to Rocky Top.
She and Nikki Fargas, 2 former Lady Vols, the head coach at LSU, battled it down to a 1-point game last Sunday.
You kind of expect that with LSU. You're going to get that scrappy defense, and Kelly Harper says that LSU defense just makes you play ugly as Renaya Davis swooshes one. But facing that LSU defense should help Tennessee because they're facing a Georgia team who's got a really solid defense. Joni Taylor is a great defensive mind.
That's one thing you always know. When you're playing Georgia, you not necessarily strategize how you're going to guard Georgia, but how you're going to score against Georgia's defense.
Marta Suarez for 3. Tamari Key hit the deck underneath the basket. It'll stay with Georgia. Joni Taylor in her 6th season as Georgia's head coach, where she was an assistant under Andy Landers before taking over this program. But it's so nice this year to see all these pieces for Coach Taylor healthy and just really flowing together. It's one of the best teams we've seen from Georgia in a while.
And how much did she light up talking about Q Morrison being healthy?
How could you not?
She's like, you can't help but cheer for this kid because she plays with such joy.
Q Morrison was the one stepping up there and getting a foul called as Marta Suarez drove to the basket.
Suarez staying after, getting those second chance opportunities.
Michaela Coombs will check in for the Lady Bulldogs. The transfer from UConn had to sit out last season after 2 years playing for Gino Auriemma.
And you watch Coombs play, and Joni Taylor talked about she is so acrobatic. She makes some tough shots. When she comes in, she's going to make something happen offensively. But you don't want that turnover.
Forced in the no-look pass to Suarez, but she was too far underneath. Connolly over to Jenna Stady, and finally Stady's got her first points. Stady had a double-double against Florida, but 15 of her 17 points came in the second half because she got in foul trouble and had to sit most of that first half.
And that's what Georgia cannot afford. They have to have Jenna Stady on the court. With the improvement that she's made from last season, she's too valuable to be on the bench.
4 seconds on the shot clock. Suarez is going to have to put it up. Banks it in.
Courtney, you said you were at shoot-around today, and it was Georgia that was going over the high extended hand. That time Tennessee did it. I guess they're used to practicing against it every day.
Yeah, that's an advantage for Tennessee. They're used to playing against somebody like Jenna Stady because they see it in their own gym. Davis finds Tamari Key, and she's going to the free throw line. Tennessee finding some success in the paint. Already 8 paint points for the Lady Vols here in Knoxville. SEC Women's Basketball is presented by Regions, the official bank of the SEC. Georgia already has 4 turnovers early on in this one in Knoxville. They trail Tennessee 13-7. Jenna Stady has been a big part of Georgia's offense. They need her right now.
Well, one of the things that Joni Taylor and Jenna Stady had a conversation about in the latter part of last season, Jenna Stady said, I want to do more, and Joni Taylor said, do more. And Jenna Stady has done exactly that ever since. Joni said that after 1 or 2 games, she's like, okay, when is the old Jenna going to come back? The old Jenna has not returned. She has been consistent over the last 20 games and now averaging over 17 points a game, 8 rebounds a game since she made that statement to her head coach.
Yeah, and they need her tonight. This is the first time the new Jenna Stady is facing this Tennessee team who has so much size, and Joni knew it was going to be a big test for Jenna.
Well, and going back to last season, one of the things Joni Taylor was wondering about was how would Jenna Stady play when she's playing against South Carolina and going against Aaliyah Boston. Well, in that game, Jenna Stady had 16 points. So still, against size, she didn't back down, and that's the Jenna Stady that Georgia needs today.
Stady with just 2 points, not out on the floor right now for Georgia. They've brought in Javin Nicholson with Tamari Key at the line. Drops them both in. Tennessee already establishing that they want to score in the paint. They have 8 paint points of their 15 points in this game.
They've done a nice job of spacing and where to deliver the basketball and when to get it inside.
Michaela Coombs has her shot tipped by Renaya Davis. And Suarez traveled.
We just talk about the length of Tennessee, just the defense. When you think that that shot is there, you've got to take into consideration that wingspan of these Lady Vol players.
Both teams with 4 turnovers now. Gabby Connolly will go to the line, another senior for Georgia out of San Antonio, Texas. Led the team last year, averaging 12.5 points per game. But she's getting some more help this year thanks to Q Morrison being healthy and also Michaela Coombs coming in and being able to play.
Well, Gabby Connolly is a scorer. She's really a shooting guard that was having to play the point guard position last season. Now having Q Morrison the ability to play the point, Georgia can move Gabby Connolly to the wing. She's a terrific 3-point shooter. She's a terrific decision maker from that wing area.
And Joni Taylor told us it's taking that pressure off where she doesn't feel like she has to make something happen every single time. So she's making less mistakes.
Less pressure, you can play more freely. There you go.
It's got to be, yeah, and it's got to be more fun too to have teammates like Coombs and Q Morrison that you can dish the ball to.
But the length of this Tennessee defense has really made it difficult for Georgia to get into their offensive flow.
Jenna Stady not out there right now. She's got 1 foul, taking a seat for Georgia. Coombs attacking the basket. Both Georgia and Tennessee scored 54% of their points in the paint.
Coombs coming through that elevator screen. Renaya Davis is late. Or no, that was Jordan Horston late, and Coombs makes her pay, driving to the baseline.
But they're going to call the foul on Tennessee, so Georgia will take over. It was on Renaya Davis. Her first. So Destiny Salary will check in the game. Ray Burrell will take a seat. Morrison. Foul away from the ball on Jordan Walker.
Keep an eye on the ball screen action for Georgia, especially when Q Morrison has the basketball. Tennessee's given her a step. Morrison's got to look to pull the trigger.
Javin Nicholson will pull the trigger, and she'll hit.
Georgia's cut this to a 2-point ball game, and this is with Jenna Stady on the bench.
And Tennessee led by as many as 8 so far tonight. A long shot from Horston won't go, and out comes Q Morrison. Throws it away. 5th turnover for Georgia. Floater from Jordan Horston.
You got to understand, Horston is a 6'2" defender at the guard spot. That's a lot of length.
Way off from Connolly. Jordan Walker for 3. Tennessee has not hit a 3 tonight. That's going to be the 2nd foul on Jordan Walker.
Check out the length of Jordan Horston. Just reads the pass from Q Morrison and then driving. Just a nice little pull-up. Body control in the SEC. Great control, great correction from her freshman year to her sophomore year, playing with that body control, not getting the charge, but getting the finish.
So both Tennessee and Georgia make some substitutions. Ray Burrell is back in, and Maury Davenport is in the game for the Georgia Lady Bulldogs, number 15 in red down low. That's Sarah Ashley Barker on the shot.
Well, talking to Joni of Georgia, she said she's going to go 11, even 13 deep. She uses her bench, and she wants her players to play all out. She said a lot of times players that play 30 minutes a game, they take plays off. But when they know they're going to play short spurts of time and go in and out, they don't take those plays off anymore.
Maury Davenport whistled for the foul, and Tennessee will get to inbound. Georgia worked on defending this a lot, but it doesn't matter if Ray Burrell's open in the corner. Quick bucket on the other end from Coombs.
No celebration. If you're Tennessee, you got to get back when you're playing this Georgia team.
Tamari Key to Salary. Taken away by Morrison. And Georgia's going to have another easy bucket.
Read an article on Her Hoops. They talked about why it would be Georgia that have an opportunity that could vie for an SEC championship. What was it based on? Georgia's defense.
So Tennessee has to call timeout. 52.5 seconds left here in the first quarter. Well, gymnastics takes over the SEC network every Friday night, and tomorrow our gymnastics doubleheader starts in Lexington with number 8 Kentucky hosting number 9 Auburn at 7 Eastern, and then it's number 5 LSU and number 6 Arkansas from the barn in Fayetteville. If you didn't see LSU last week, Kaya Johnson, who's the reigning SEC Freshman of the Year, had a perfect 10 on floor to win the meet for LSU. She was the last athlete to compete. What a way to go out.
Hey, that's a drop the mic movement right there.
It is a drop the mic. And floor is my favorite event. Oh, the ball movement for Tennessee. How about that?
Sharing the basketball, you get easy looks. and a quick strike. So now Tennessee could have the last possession of this quarter.
It's about an 8-second difference between the shot clock and the game clock. Javin Nicholson for 2. Rebound by Burrell. She's got time.
That's smart. Pull the ball out, use the end of this quarter into the clock.
Jordan Horston will take it. How about that? Lay one down, Jordan Horston at the buzzer.
Jordan Horston, big bucket to end the quarter right now. The Lady Vols are cruising into the second quarter.
The perfect place for a We Back Pat game. Knoxville, Tennessee. Lady Vols on top of Georgia, 25-17 as we get set for the second quarter. Courtney Lyle and Carolyn Peck with you. And Carolyn, you had the privilege of getting to coach on Pat Summitt's staff when she was during her long time, 38 seasons at Tennessee. What was that experience like?
It was fantastic. But Courtney, you know what I found? I found the welcome letter from Pat Summitt, and I've got to read to you. She says, I am confident you will be a valuable addition to our staff and program. I appreciate your confidence in us. And when you think about the grace and the humility, I mean, I was not confident, but I felt really it was a great opportunity, and I learned so much from Pat Summitt. When you were able to work with her or work for her, you could tell she loved her staff. She loved her players. She really loved anybody that she spent time with and had an opportunity to really share with. And just the effect of Pat Summitt, it lives on to this day.
Is the biggest thing she taught you as a coach?
The biggest thing, there were two things as a coach. Number one, you got to love your players. And number two, you've got to be prepared and prepared for the unexpected. I was the restricted earnings coach at the time. I made $16,000. I worked in a closet basically, but I had a double deck VCR where you had to punch and hold the record and play at the same time. But she would ask me, what do they do out of this timeout? What do they lead off with in the second quarter? Like, she wanted to know everything. Now, the players didn't need to know all that, but she wanted to be prepared for whatever her opponents might pose to her. And she was. That's why she was so successful, won 1,098 games.
Yeah, just incredible. Tied for second most all-time now that Tara Vanderveer passed her back in December. But we can still see the impact that she's having on the game. Just look at her coaching tree. Kelly Harper, one of those who played for Coach Summitt at Tennessee and is now coaching this legendary program.
Well, Kelly Harper won 3 national championships playing for Pat Summitt.
Summitt. Remember when she got that 1,000th win and then finished her career with 1,098? Gino Auriemma has now tied her at that number. He has a chance to pass her on Tuesday. And of course, Tara Vanderveer at Stanford, the #1 program in the nation right now, leads the way. But it was such a big deal to see that back in December when Coach Vanderveer passed Coach Summitt. It was just a milestone and amazing to see history made. And I remember Coach Summitt saying, like, someone will pass me, it will happen someday, and it will be good for the game.
Well, and you saw Tara Vanderveer really talk about in what she has learned from watching Pat Summitt. And she talked about the thing that Pat's players always talked about is they appreciated playing for her and what they learned from her, and that's what Tara Vanderveer wants from her players, for her players to have that same type of appreciation because of what she gives to them, and she does give it all. And you look at this year's team, how talented they are, and she's got them playing so well together this season. That number is going to continue to go up and up and up. Going to be harder and harder to catch now, Tara Vanderveer.
Stanford is just incredible. rolling people off the bench left and right, just filling in spots, no problem. Tamari Key tacks on a couple more for this Tennessee team, who now has 16 paint points.
I think the difference for Tennessee this year is the confidence and the continued aggressive play of the post players. Yes, they get paint points from their guards, but there needs to be that establishment of the post, and I think Key and Kushketawa are doing that for the Lady Vols.
How much do you think it's helped them to be in year 2 under Kelly Harper also?
Well, not only do you understand what Kelly Harper wants, she now demands it. I've taught it to you in year 1. Now there's no excuses in year 2. And when we talked to Kelly when they first came back to school in the fall, she was so impressed with Kushketawa and the amount of conditioning that work that Cassie had put in, and talked about her fitness and how healthy she is, because she has really struggled with injury throughout her whole career. You can tell now, no knee brace, no knee sleeve on number 11, Cassie Kushketawa.
And she's posting up and being active like she wants the basketball at all times. And Kelly Harper told us, you don't do that unless you really want the basketball, and she's working hard for it.
Yeah, you can be a fake post player, and those are the ones that get out there and you just kind of do the bump with the defense. And then you have the ones who lay out the defense even before the ball is in the position to come into you. And that is telling the rest of your team, I want the ball. Give it to me inside.
Yeah, see how her numbers have gone up over the last 4 games. She's really established herself down low. Ray Burrell on the 3. Kushketawa had the chance for the putback. It will stay with Tennessee. Look at Kushketawa hustling for the ball to save it all, but then threw it away. Coombs gets there. A layup for Georgia.
Just seems like Tennessee cannot extend or break away. Georgia keeps staying in striking distance.
Poked out of bounds by Morrison.
But 2 names we haven't called frequently so far in this first half have been Ray Burrell and Rennia Davis.
Burrell has 5 points. Rennia Davis has 4 points. Ray Burrell has been one of the most consistent players for Tennessee all season.
And right now, Ray Burrell has Gabby Connolly, who is a much smaller player on her.
They had to take that shot clock running down. Connolly comes out with it.
Get in there! Neil!
This is the style of play Tennessee played against Arkansas, slow and deliberate, and they were able to really find whatever they wanted offensively.
That's going to be a foul on Ray Burrell. Well, our full day of men's basketball Saturday on the SEC Network starts at 1 Eastern. It's highlighted by this matchup at 6 Eastern. Vandy and Tennessee are going to play. They were supposed to play on Tuesday in Nashville. They're going to play Saturday in Knoxville. Tennessee's won 6 of the last 8 against the Commodores.
Well, the Commodores' last 2 games against Kentucky lost by 3, Mississippi State lost by 3. The Commodores are knocking at the door. Could it happen in Knoxville?
Tennessee's only lost 1 game this season. That was to Alabama. They're 3-1 in the SEC. 4 players averaging double figures for Rick Barnes.
Marta right there. Missed Cassie posting up on Jenna Stady. Could have gone straight in the paint.
And Tennessee's missed its last 6 shots. Morrison a little short.
Layups for Georgia. They look a little step off. They're not as fluid, Georgia, as I've seen them play in their past couple of games.
How much is that Tennessee's defense and height affecting them?
Well, I think when you're playing against a team with height, you second guess what you're going to do because you're afraid of getting your shot blocked, and you can't play with that fear. You've got to run your stuff, take away option 1. If they take away option 1, go to option 2 or 3.
There's going to be an illegal screen there on Jordan Isaacs, and Tennessee will have the basketball. Lady Vols on top of the Lady Bulldogs, 31-23 on the Summit. Second quarter here in Knoxville, Tennessee on top of Georgia, 31-23. Just a few moments ago, former Tennessee Lady Vol Michelle Marciniak, who is in the stands tonight, was honored. She received the NCAA Silver Anniversary Award. It's given to specific athletes on the 25th anniversary of their last year playing. And of course, I remember watching Michelle Marciniak, Spinderella. If you remember, part of that 1996 national championship team. She was the most outstanding player. And of course, who was that 96 national championship game against?
The Georgia Bulldogs.
The Georgia Bulldogs.
I had the privilege of coaching on Pat's staff in 1995 when Tennessee lost to Connecticut in the national championship. And that's where she really garnered the name of Spinderella. And I just remember Pat just telling her, because Marciniak, when she went into the basket, she wanted to spin every time. And Pat would tell her, you don't have to spin every time you go to the basket. Just take the easy layup.
Well, she got it done in 96. They got the title.
I know. Why couldn't she have done it a year earlier?
Yeah. That's on you. That's your timing.
All right. I left and went to the University of Kentucky. Maybe I should have stuck around another year.
Tennessee back up to a 10-point lead, matches their largest lead of the night. It's gotten a little sloppy here in the last few minutes for both of these teams. What's going on?
Well, and looking, Georgia just doesn't look like they're in the same flow that they played with against Florida. Now, Florida was a smaller team, but they've got to play with still that fluidity of being able to move the basketball, harder cuts, and really trusting each other within their offense.
Destiny Salary is going to be called for the bumping foul there on Maya Caldwell.
Yeah, Georgia's turning the ball over, taking some ill-advised shots, or they're good shots, but to see Q Morrison or Gabby Connolly shoot an air ball, that's just uncharacteristic of Georgia.
Can't throw that in there when Tamari Key is guarding Jenna Stady.
Well, you know, one of the things that Joni Taylor talked about is they don't have their male practice players, and usually playing against guys is the only way you can simulate playing against Tennessee's size. But Marta Suarez from 3, that's a freshman, ladies and gentlemen, from Spain. I love her game, yes.
Yeah, going back to the size for Tennessee, Georgia tried to replicate that in shoot-around today. They had their guards working on a drill where they would drive in on a manager with his hands held high and shoot over him at the free throw line.
Well, that's something Tennessee does every day, so Marta Suarez had no problem. She said, yep, that's just what we do.
I love the reaction. Salary sees an opening right on the logo.
Yeah, Now, at what point does Georgia maybe look at going a zone, challenge Tennessee to have to consistently hit shots? I know Marta Suarez just hit one, but Tennessee able to drive in the paint. Things just get a little bit too easy.
Tamari Key using those long arms for the rebound. The shot is short by Horston. Stady only has 2 points today.
But the length of Key. How will Stady bounce back? Yeah, you got your shot deflected, but now what you do as a post player, okay, you remember on this move, she went for this. Now go to your counter move.
Under 2 left in the half. Tennessee has scored 9 straight points. Seven seconds on the shot clock. That's going to be a shot clock violation on Tennessee. Suarez got stuck.
It's the battle of the post inside. You see Jenna Stady going at Tamari Key. And really what Stady just needs to keep her balance. Okay, square up. Then the defense recovers. That's when you can use your step through and come back to the side you came from and finish with that outside hand.
Sarah Ashley Parker is off the front of the iron. Davenport with the rebound. Caldwell looking for space. Davenport hits.
That's a good sign for Davenport. This is a player didn't even think she was going to be playing this season. They had already talked about she was going to sit out this year, and when she became eligible, because everybody that's playing this year gets another year back, Joni Taylor's like, listen, when you get your opportunities, make the most of them and learn as much as you can.
Takeaway, Georgia can hold for the last shot. Oh, and Barker hit the deck hard and turned it over. Remember,
Smart.
Horston hit a 3 at the buzzer at the end of the first quarter.
Caldwell's going to have to put pressure on her this time.
It's a 2. Bank! Jordan Horston just thriving with the clock ticking down.
Number 25, Jordan Horston. What should we call her now? She ended the first quarter and the second quarter. Might need to call her the closer.
Jordan Horston closing out the half with a bank shot for 2. Tennessee on top at halftime here on the Summit, 40-25. Welcome back to Knoxville as we honor Pat Summitt and her continued impact on women's basketball, both on and off the court. We back Pat here in Knoxville and across the SEC this week. Tennessee on top of Georgia, 40-25. Tennessee looking to stay perfect in SEC play. Courtney Lyle alongside national championship winning head coach Carolyn Peck. And Tennessee's offense was definitely there in the first half. For Georgia, it was not.
Well, Tennessee's length, I think, has had a lot to do with the lack of offense for Georgia. Georgia's only shooting 35%, and I think Tennessee's length had a whole lot to do with that.
But Tamari Key is a big part of that length, and she's in double figures for the second straight game.
Well, what Tennessee is doing is playing to their strengths, and Tamari Key right now is doing a nice job of positioning and then finishing with the bucket. And then defensively, her length, she has been a nightmare on Jenna Stady. But it has been Jordan Horston. Kelly Harper talks about Horston having the ability just to make things happen. She is a dynamic guard, and because of her length at 6'2", she's got terrific court vision, and she also has that wingspan that makes passing the ball around the defense very tough. Man, I was hoping that Martis Flores would have finished that. That was a beautiful play. But we saw Jordan Horston in the first quarter and the second quarter with big buckets. She's playing well right now for the Lady Vols.
Has 4 steals in the first half alone. Her career is 5. Tennessee, you see the numbers much better percentage-wise than Georgia, and also they did what Tennessee does. They scored in the paint.
Well, and that's where I'm just wondering how long before will Georgia maybe switch up their defense. Man-to-man, isolating one-on-one has been tough.
You see Georgia goes with a different starting lineup, too. No Jenna Stady to start the third quarter.
And that's why Tennessee can go right inside to Tamari Key.
Gabby Connolly, that could be a good sign. Connolly averages 10 points a game.
See Horston taking control of the floor.
Renaya Davis, and there's just a lane to the basket. Maury Davenport can do the same. Getting the start in this third quarter. As you mentioned in that first half, the transfer from Rutgers, they had planned for her to sit out. They weren't going to apply for a waiver for her to play. Then every transfer became eligible, and they were just going to work her in here and there. Here she is starting the third quarter.
One of the things that I noticed in the first half is Jenna Stady was not sprinting the floor, and maybe Joni Taylor liked the way that Mari Davenport was willing to get up and down the floor, especially when Georgia's on offense.
And then Davenport gets a rebound. Kayla Coombs gets the foul called on Ray Burrell.
You see how Mari Davenport gets out in transition, and Gabby Connolly just drops the nice dime so Davenport can finish with the layup.
Jenna Stady over on the Georgia bench area, just 2 points for her in the first half, 1 of 4 from the field.
Well, I'm hoping that with the development of Jenna Stady that she does not, start doubting their lack of confidence because of what she's done over the last 20 games. Now that you're facing the size of Tennessee, you got to find that extra oomph. Even though you're playing against size, understanding, especially as a post player, you're not going to score over anybody. So what you've got to do is do your positioning, get that drop step, then you'll have an easy basket.
Stady has scored in double figures in 19 of her last 20 games, but that's in danger tonight.
I think Joni Taylor's letting her sit and think about it for a minute.
Davis posting up Q Morrison.
See, that's what teams that face Tennessee are going to have on the guard position. Davis can post you up.
First trip to the free throw line for Davis tonight. She's got 6 points. You can make it 7. Well, coming up next, our women's basketball doubleheader continues in Gainesville with number 17 Arkansas taking on Florida. This one also part of our 10th annual We Back Pat Week. Tennessee got a big win over that Arkansas team a week ago tonight here in Knoxville. Florida much improved this year as well.
It's going to be, I think, a track meet and a shooting fest because both of those teams can shoot the three very well. They'll play a 5-out offense. Drive and kick. Are the defense going to be ready to rotate? Woohoo! Tamari Key, top shelf.
Tamari Key has been outstanding tonight, offensively and defensively. Davenport has trouble getting around her, too.
it's going to be tough to go against Tamari Key just playing with your back to the basket. You're better off when you're playing against posts with size. As an offensive person, get your post moving, cutting.
Air ball from Davenport. Georgia still struggling to shoot. Ooh, dangerous pass. Key corralled it. Back out to Burrell.
That was a good decision by Tamari Key. She was off balance. Don't force it up. Kicked it out. It was in the position for the rebound.
7 seconds now for Tennessee, and they turn it over. Jordan Isaacs was there. This is Connolly feeding Morrison.
And Joni Taylor wanting now to pick up full court pressure, really turn things up, not just let Tennessee walk the ball down the court.
And Georgia has 12 fast break points now. Burrell pulls up. Foul on the floor underneath.
This is how Georgia can get back in the game. Jordan Isaacs with the steal, and then Gabby Connolly finding Q Morrison, streaking in transition.
Oh, that was lucky. Somebody left Renaya Davis wide open. There's going to be a foul on Georgia.
The foul called on Jordan Isaacs. Moving screen. That was a block there put there on Ray Burrell.
Possession arrow pointing to Georgia. Their defense stepping it up a little bit, getting a little more aggressive and getting in these passing lanes.
Well, that's one thing that Joni Taylor has really continued on from what Andy Landers has done to carrying that through. Is Georgia is always known as a defensive program that's going to bring, and Joni says all the time, defense travels. You may have an off shooting night, but you cannot have an off defensive night.
Coombs down low to Mallory Bates. Kelly Harper, Tennessee's head coach, told us watching Georgia on film, she said this team loves to play defense. And when an opponent can tell that about your team, that's got to make a head coach happy.
Well, and I tell you what that does as a head coach. When you see a team that loves to play defense, you have to know that you're going to have to go to your second and third options. So you've got to be very intentional with your passes.
Renaya Davis will head to the free throw line. She's 2 for 2 tonight. Mallory Bates is called for her third foul. We still have not seen Jenna Stady here in the third quarter. Our full day of men's basketball Saturday on SEC Network starts at 1. We'll have this game for you at 6 Eastern. Vandy, led by Scottie Pippen Jr., looking for the upset against number 10 Tennessee. They were supposed to play on Tuesday. Rescheduled for Knoxville on Saturday. That's always a fun rivalry, too, on the men's side and the women's side.
Oh, and Scottie Pippen Jr. the third, he's a small point guard, but he can play. I'm telling you, he can score it, he can shoot it. He's smart on the floor, smart point guard.
Tipped up in the air. Q Morrison by herself. 2 in a row for Q.
This could be the turning point for Georgia.
Tennessee is led by as many as 17. Georgia's got it down to 6. Jordan Walker's in trouble. 3 seconds. And she didn't get the shot off in time anyway. Man, Georgia's defense coming up big, and they're starting to hit some buckets.
Well, the offense is clicking for Georgia. You see the screen for Q Morrison. She gets her feet set. She finds the target and knocks it down. And then right back to her. Find the hot hand. Q Morrison keeping the Georgia Bulldogs in this one.
You know, I played in the SEC, and when I would see her during games, Tyler was right there behind the bench, or even when she was cutting down the nets and he was on the ladder. At an early age, I understood and knew that it was okay to be a mother and still excel at a high level in the game of basketball. She set the tone for that to happen.
I love that Joni Taylor shares that story. So many times you think, you get into athletics or something that takes up so much time like coaching does, and then you can't have a family. And Pat made it so that that's not the case. She proved you could do it all.
And the reason that Pat was able to do it all is she was organized and she had her priorities in order. Yeah, family came first, and then she treated her basketball team and coaches and staff like family. There were many times that Pat, we would be leaving the office and she'd say, "Y'all gonna come over to the house? I'm cooking." Or even after I was not working for her and commentating and come in town to do games, she'd say, "I'm cooking." And she'd invite the crew over to come over and have dinner at her house. She just had an open door, an open heart. Such a great woman.
Yeah, I remember being part of the Knoxville local media over on Selection Day. She'd have everybody over to the house and have a catered meal ready for everybody to watch the selection show with her team. It was just a really cool experience to see her in that environment.
You didn't get the fried corn, that Miss Hazel recipe?
Man, I did not.
Oh,
Sounds
and then
tremendous.
Some white beans. Woo! Pat Summitt could heat it up, burn it up in the kitchen.
Now, Georgia's been cooking up something here. They were down by 17 points, and Tennessee hits that bucket from Horston, but they've cut it to a single-digit lead for Tennessee.
Well, now Tennessee going to a zone. After Georgia's hit a couple of threes, this is going to really challenge. Ooh. Yeah, that's a foul on Salary. Yeah. With Jordan Horston posting up a smaller Connolly. Connolly it's going to be a tough matchup. If anybody that she's defending, they take her down low. She just gives up so much size.
Connolly listed at 5'6". Bates feeding Davenport. Again, we have not seen Jenna Stady here in the second half. Looks to be okay on the bench. Only 2 points in the first half. Coombs. And the shooting struggles continue. Georgia only shot 34% in the first half.
Georgia just looking at missed opportunities. They've caused some turnovers. They've caused some deflections. They've gotten some steals.
Morrison with the bounce pass over to Bates. And she will go to the line but doesn't finish the layup. Georgia has outscored Tennessee here in the third quarter, 16-9.
Well, it seems like the tempo for Georgia has picked up, not just offensively, but a little bit more aggressive offensively. And so they've got to be able to finish now. They're getting the opportunities on offense now. Can they finish?
It's almost like they took that first half to realize the size they were going against. It really affected their shot. And now they got to finish those.
Whenever coaching against Georgia, one of the things that Georgia's always been good is defending ball screens. Their athleticism with the hard hedge from their post players and then to recover, get back to their man.
They spent a large part of shoot-around working on just that today. Shot clock violation, that Georgia defense stepping up.
Well, Bates and Davenport both had an opportunity to hard hedge. If one person was involved in the ball screen and hedging out, then if it was Davenport, then Mallory Bates covered for her, and then vice versa, and they recovered back and took away the inside option from Tennessee.
Salary whistled for another foul.
Kelly Harper really likes Salary, says because she loves to play defense, but this young player's got to learn you play defense with your feet first. You can't reach. The officials aren't going to let you put a lot of hands on out front.
And that's Destiny Salary's fourth foul with 2 minutes to go in the third quarter. Puts Gabby Connolly at the line. She's got 8 points tonight, 5 assists, 2 rebounds.
And right now, Georgia, one of the better free throw shooters in the SEC, shooting 67 or 76% from the line.
And they're second in the conference in free throw percentage. Just a 5-point lead for Tennessee. It was 17 earlier in this game. Lady Vols haven't scored in over 2 minutes.
Well, and right now, a lot of Tennessee's offense has been off the bounce as opposed to moving the ball with the pass.
It'll be Georgia ball.
A lot more dribbling with that offense it's just kind of one-on-one, and that happens when the defense gets turned up. Then you go to your insecurity of a lot of dribbling the basketball. You've got to trust your offense. Use pass fakes. When you have a team playing you tough defensively, look at some there's a three, but some backdoor opportunities.
And just like that, Tennessee's lead is cut to 2 thanks to Gabby Connolly. Now, Tennessee's offense was so good against that ranked Arkansas team because they were moving the ball. They were looking to get the ball inside.
See, in Georgia's defense, there's a lot of denying, a lot of pressure, one-on-one.
Morrison just waiting on it to bury it. Georgia has the lead after trailing by 17.
We talked about Q Morrison at the top of the game, and we talked about how she distributes the basketball. We didn't emphasize as much how she can score the ball, but she can do that as well.
13 points for Q. She's shooting 50% tonight. Georgia has needed every bit of that. 12 seconds on the shot clock for Tennessee. Davis. Tennessee can't buy a layup right now.
With the length now that Georgia has brought in the game, with Mallory Bates and Mari Davenport, it isn't quite as easy inside in the paint for the Lady Vols.
Connolly up ahead. This is the Georgia we were expecting to see. Look at the energy right now for Joni Taylor's crew.
It has taken Georgia a while to get started, but in this second half, late in the third, the Georgia Bulldogs have turned up their intensity and have the Lady Vols on their heels. Now, the game is a game of runs. When will Tennessee start their next run?
Georgia's on a 17-2 run right now. They've turned Tennessee over 18 times and turned those 18 turnovers into 15 points.
LSU turned Tennessee over 19 times and turned that into 26 points just on Sunday.
Connolly will take the shot. I lied, it was a pass to Q Morrison. She'll bank that in, up off the window. Georgia ends the third quarter on a 19-2 run to take the lead.
It's been Q Morrison, first from the perimeter, now getting on the glass to seal the deal to end the third quarter. We got a good one going into the fourth.
Start of the fourth quarter in Knoxville. No, that is not a typo in the third quarter line because Stacia, our graphics producer, is awesome. Georgia outscored Tennessee 29-9 in the third quarter. Q Morrison, 13 points. What a run for Georgia.
Well, the third quarter, she got lit. She got it from the three-point line, back-to-back threes. That ignited the Georgia Bulldogs, and then getting on the glass, those kind of energy plays right there. Did you see Joni Taylor jump up off the bench? She's loving how the Bulldogs are playing right now.
You see Jenna Stady there. She did not start the third quarter. She did not play in the third quarter for Georgia. Only 2 points in that first half, but Georgia really got things going in that third quarter without her.
Well, having Mallory Bates and Mari Davenport, a little more athletic, a little more length, battling inside with Tamari Key has been beneficial for the Georgia Dogs. Now, can Tennessee get back to ball movement and playing with the confidence that they did when they were able to knock off Arkansas at home?
Jenna Stady leads them in points per game and rebounds per game, but Georgia's finding a way to get it done on a night she's struggling. Georgia was down 17 points, used a 19-2 run to take this lead. So if you're Tennessee, you turn into Ray Burrell right now. She's been so consistent all season.
Well, normally it is, you don't have to turn to Ray. Ray gets turned up. So will Ray Burrell now take it upon herself? She'll do it with energy plays, from getting deflections and getting out in transition, or getting the ball and making plays to the basket, or knocking down those key threes. Will that be the Ray Burrell we see in this fourth quarter?
Jordan Isaacs for Georgia just fouled out. Another quick bucket for the Lady Bulldogs.
Georgia full court pressure right now, just not letting Tennessee get settled in.
Look at Bates flying in for the rebound, and now they'll set things up. Connolly pulls it back out. Maury Davenport got the start in the third quarter.
We see Tamari Key right now. She hasn't posted up yet in this possession. She's got to want the ball.
Burrell in trouble, tries to pivot out of it. Suarez is stripped.
Right now, the post players for Georgia look a little gassed.
Coombs got it stuck to her hip and gets called for the travel.
But, you know, that was a good decision by Coombs. Instead of putting up a bad shot where Tennessee's going to have numbers going the other direction, just take the ball out of bounds. Dead ball turnover, allow your defense to get set.
Coombs, a transfer from UConn, had last season to sit out and learn the system at Georgia. Burrell trying to create.
That's what I would expect in the fourth quarter. She has been so good in crunch time for Tennessee.
Illegal screen on Georgia.
You can tell this is gut check time right now. Mallory Bates and Mari Davenport are really having to go the distance because Genestati's not in the rotation, and battling in the post, that takes a lot out of you.
Well, good thing they have Mallory Bates back. She missed their last game because she was in contact tracing, but back to go tonight, and thank goodness for Georgia. Tamari Key, just her second bucket here in the second half. She had 10 points in the first half.
Georgia taking their time using the shot clock.
Jordan Walker finds a way to score among the trees.
And that's just Jordan Walker creating her own shot. The intensity of the Georgia defense has picked up. The execution has gone away from Tennessee. They've got to get their composure back so they can get the shots that they want.
Timeout called. Georgia trying to hang on to this lead, 56-53. SEC Network Women's Basketball is presented by Regions, official bank of the SEC. Georgia with a 3-point lead on the number 23 team in the nation. A week from tonight, Tennessee is going to have another big test when they take on UConn. That rivalry renewed, and so many were excited to see this happen last season. UConn, of course, got the win over Tennessee after a really close first half. Huskies lead the all-time series 14-9, but this year Connecticut has even more talent, and it starts with a freshman, no surprise, in Paige Beckers.
She was the #1 recruit coming in with this season's class, and she can do it all. She can distribute the basketball. She can score the basketball. She's shooting almost 60% from the floor, 50% from the three-point line. And so when you start with a scoring ability at the point position, and she's a long guard too. She's about 6'1", 6'2". She's tough to guard. She makes it very difficult for the opponents that face the Huskies.
She leads UConn in points per game. Check out her just over 5 assists per game. She had 23 points in their last contest against Providence. UConn's going to take on Butler on Tuesday before facing Tennessee a week from today.
Well, Connecticut also has another post player, Leah Edwards, that's going to be a handful to deal with inside to go along with Olivia Nelson-Ododa.
Right now, Tennessee's just focused on this game because they were up by 17 points. Georgia used a 19-2 run to end the third quarter to take the lead. Roll around and down for Maury Davenport.
Now with Cassie Kushketawa inside. Yeah, post up, go right inside. Yeah, that's easy too for the Lady Vols.
Those are her first points tonight, Peck.
She's got to act like she wants the ball in this fourth quarter if Tennessee wants a shot at protecting home court.
Georgia hasn't won in Knoxville since 1996, but they sure won it tonight. That was back when Kelly Harper was playing for Pat Summitt. Q Morrison. How many times have we seen that? A takeaway into a layup. That's 18 turnovers now for Tennessee. Excuse me, 23 turnovers for Tennessee.
We talk about Q Morrison bringing it with the offense. Well, it's her defense that's turned up things for the Lady Dogs.
Under 5 minutes to go in Knoxville, Georgia trying to get their first win on Rocky Top since 1996, and Q Morrison is giving them a chance to do just that, and what a journey she has been on. After an all-SEC all-freshman team campaign, her first season at Georgia, she missed the first 8 games of her sophomore season with a knee injury. Junior year broke her foot before the season and then had a shoulder injury where she missed the end of last season, and here she is finally healthy and playing a huge role for the Lady Bulldogs.
She's making the most of her senior season. And again, talking about with what joy she plays, the energy that she brings to the court, and the trust that Joni Taylor has in her. At times, you're going to see Q Morrison play the point, but you look at how hard she plays. She's just got to be an inspiration for the rest of her team.
And her defense has really helped her tonight. 17 points, 8 rebounds, 2 rebounds shy of her second career double-double. Rennia Davis to the basket.
Now Tennessee going back to a man-to-man. Had to get out of that zone with Gabby Connolly and Q Morrison being able to shoot the ball so well.
Maya Caldwell gets past Rennia Davis. Davis can juke her defender too.
Yeah, we were looking for Ray Burrell to get turn up for Tennessee. It looks like it's going to be Rennia Davis in this fourth quarter.
Davis with just 8 points in their last game against LSU. She's already got 13. Tennessee's hit its last 5 shots. Kushkitawa's fouled.
Horston's being the conductor right now for Tennessee, doing a nice job of understanding who to get the ball to. First it went inside to Rennia Davis, came back to the top, but Jordan Horston's eyes were to the rim and immediately went right back down low.
Kushkitawa 2 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists this evening. She's at the line. Monday, SEC Inside gives you an all-access pass to the national championship game between Alabama and Ohio State for never-before-seen footage and sounds. It all starts at 9 Eastern right here on the SEC Network and the ESPN app. I can guarantee that the Tide will still crush Ohio State, even when you watch it from behind the scenes.
Even when Devontae Smith didn't play much in the second quarter, in the second half, Alabama still was in control.
You just needed the first half to set a few records and then move on.
Najee Harris.
Super impressive. Well, since the third quarter, Tennessee has been playing catch-up. Georgia used a 19-2 run to take the lead. Kushkitawa all alone.
The Lady Lady Vols have their twin towers in, Kushketawa and Tamari Key, to sprace the floor, go with the high-low action. That's tough to guard.
Tennessee looks like they're making more of an effort to get them the ball, too. Lady Vols had a 17-point lead.
I go back to the same play. Just get high-low, but Tamari Key's got to work hard. She's got to want the ball. She's isolated one-on-one down in the paint.
Finally, somebody comes and gets it from Kushketawa. Now they just have 5 seconds. Burrell gets stuffed by Morrison. Coombs. Davenport.
See again, Cassie Kushketawa wants the ball more. Bring Tamari Key up top. Leave Cassie down low to post up.
There she is.
Cassie Kushketawa is just battling more down low inside. Let her be your low post anchor.
Kushketawa didn't score until right here in the fourth quarter, but now she's got 7 points.
But you watch, she wants the ball. She's like, here, give it to me. Let me do the work one-on-one. I can finish the job.
So with Kushketawa heating back up, if you're Georgia, do you go to Jenna Stady? We haven't seen her in the second half.
I don't think so. I think that after this timeout right now, your two post players for Georgia get some rest and understand they've just got to battle it out for the next minute and a half. They've just got to be able to hold the fort in the paint especially. They've got to make sure that they try to, number one, you don't need to try to front the post of Tennessee because they're too big. They're going to go over the top. At least make them shoot over you.
Mallory Bates has got to be careful, though, because she does have 4 fouls, and they need her for all 1 minute and 27 seconds of this game.
But the other thing that Tennessee can do offensively, especially with having Key and Kushketawa in the game, is keep them at the elbows. You have Renaya Davis and Ray Burrell, who have a height advantage over the guards of Georgia, so they could go down and post up as well. Both of these two post players for Tennessee are good passers. So then post up your guards and just get 2 points at a time. You've got enough time for the possessions.
Morrison almost had a steal. Morrison will bring it up to the top of the key. Georgia hasn't won here since 1996, and they're about a minute away from ending that drought on Rocky Top. Tennessee ball.
So now Georgia's got to just defend. If they force a bad shot, get the rebound. But Tennessee can be patient. Get the shot that they want.
Coombs doing a good job on Burrell. This is Davis. Oh, Q Morrison getting on the floor and tying it up. Georgia has the possession arrow.
Just the defensive intensity. We talked about she made the all-defensive team. Well, it's because of plays like this, the hustle, the hunger for the basketball. When Q Morrison is on defense, more times than not, she's going to win that battle.
Well, so apparently Tennessee will keep it. I thought the possession arrow was pointing to Georgia. Five seconds. Dishes it off to Renaya Davis underneath. Just a 1 point lead for Georgia. They have 2 timeouts. Kelly Harper is not pleased.
Well, she was trying to call a timeout, and the officials didn't see it.
Both teams with 2 timeouts. That was just Tennessee's first foul of the quarter. So now Georgia setting up for the inbound on the far side with 22.7 seconds. Tennessee with several fouls to give.
Well, the main thing Georgia has to do is make sure that they can get the ball inbound.
Now Joni Taylor will call a timeout. Well, coming up next after we finish this thriller in Knoxville, our doubleheader continues in Gainesville. Number 17, Arkansas taking on Florida. Gators looking for their first conference win. You can see it right after this game here on the SEC Network. Just 22.7 seconds stand between Georgia and their first win in Knoxville since 1996 when Kelly Harper was a player. They were down by 17 points, used a 19-2 run in the third quarter to take the lead. Now they'll try to hold on to it.
Hugh Morrison playing keep away. Again, Tennessee's going to have to continue to foul. Georgia making sure that they get the ball in and then try to avoid, like playing tag. Don't let the defense get to you.
And Tennessee's got to foul 2 more times. Well, 3 more times to get them to shoot. They've only fouled twice in the fourth quarter.
What Tennessee can do is try to draw an offensive foul on a cutting player from Georgia.
Salary just picked up her 5th. Jenna Stady is checking into the game for Georgia for the first time in the second half. I thought that was the 5th foul on Salary.
Well, you put Stady in the game because she is an 89% free throw shooter.
Okay, so they do sub Destiny Salary out. As we mentioned, Stady in. Next foul and Georgia will shoot.
And we talked about how well Georgia shoots and makes their free throws. They shoot 76% from the free throw line.
That's going to be the final timeout for Georgia. Couldn't find somebody to throw the ball to.
Well, that's the best thing to do. Call a timeout instead of throwing the ball away, losing possession. And a lot of times your offensive set is better to come away from the basket so that you can cut to the basket. Give your players room to go get the basketball.
Georgia is out of timeouts. Tennessee has 2 timeouts remaining.
Now Tennessee's got a face guard. Try to get a 5-second call, but don't get thrown over the top.
So as you mentioned, Jenna Stady, a really good free throw shooter. Comes in hitting 88.9% from the free throw line. She only has 2 points today. First time she's seen action in the second half of this game. She's their leading scorer and rebounder.
Gotta hope she doesn't get cold from sitting over on the side. Tennessee still has 2 timeouts.
She misses them both. It's going to be Georgia ball off of Tennessee with 12.4 seconds left.
That was the exact opposite in Baton Rouge. Tennessee misses the free throw, and LSU had 2 opportunities and did not get the rebound.
Ooh, did that not go off of Georgia? I think it hit Maya Caldwell's knee.
That's the way I see it. I think it goes off Caldwell.
Oh, it hits her. I think it's Tennessee off of that angle. It looks like it hit Tamari Key's knee.
I don't think it hit her knee.
I thought it went back in after it bounced off of Caldwell, back into Key.
Let's see. It's hard to tell.
Well, the original call was they gave the ball to Georgia. So if they can't tell, that's what they'll go with.
They got to take their time and get it right because see, it looks like to me it went off Caldwell's thigh.
She hit it right there. Right
yes.
there.
I see what you're talking about.
It should be Georgia ball. That was a heck of a call by the official, whoever was on the baseline. Yeah, I think it hits Tamari Key's knee.
I agree.
All right, so Georgia has the ball. Tennessee's going to foul.
Have to. Yeah, Tennessee has to foul right away and send. I would foul Jenna Stady if she. Well, you've got to foul quickly. So whoever has the ball is Stady back out of the game. Mari Davenport has hit all of her free throws coming into this game. Mallory Bates, 55% from the free throw line.
Officials are still looking at this. They've switched officials. Only 2 can be at the monitor at a time. And it will be Georgia ball. 12.4 seconds remain. No timeouts for Georgia. They have to be able to get the ball in. And they ran out of time. Tennessee's defense wouldn't let them throw the ball in, and Georgia had no timeouts.
I want to count this. 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004, 2000. Yeah. Tough defense by the Lady Vols.
So Tennessee calls timeout. They can't advance the basketball.
So now, with Tennessee having the basketball, I'm going with Renia Davis. Well, or Jordan Horston. Because Horston finished the first quarter and the second quarter making big shots. She's going to have the length, both of them over the guards and the height of the Georgia defenders, have the ability, and you go to the basket. You want to get a shot going to the basket. You don't want to settle outside for a three, so that you have the opportunity to either get the layup, you only need to win by one, or you get yourself an opportunity to go to the free throw line.
Jordan Horston hit a three as time ticked down to end the first quarter, and then hit another bucket right before halftime as the clock was ticking down. It's like she's been preparing for this. She will be the inbounder. They give it back to her. Davis. Kidawah had to fall on the floor to hang on to the ball. Tennessee will keep it.
Renia Davis comes out with it. They're trying to go to Cassie Kidawah, who fumbles the pass. The rotation of the help comes over from Mallory Bates and causes the tie-up.
So it is going to be Georgia basketball. Sorry, we're having some trouble with the possession arrow.
Well, remember the last time, it never changed. It was Georgia, and they gave it to Tennessee, so it stayed Georgia. This should be Georgia's basketball.
Tennessee has won 8 straight home games, but that's in jeopardy. Tennessee ball. Could we have some more drama at the end of this game?
Well, the clock doesn't start until the ball goes to a player, touches a player. It never does, so no time is going off the clock.
They're going to take a look at this to make sure that the clock is right and that nobody touched the ball. Remember, we've seen Jordan Horston hit some big shots already in this game with the clock winding down.
Well, this was to end the half in the second quarter, and this three was to end the first quarter. Big buckets knocked down by the sophomore of Jordan Horston.
Horston has 11 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists.
So now Kelly Harper has got to find, she's got to have options 1, 2, and 3. Option 1 would be, I would say, get the ball to Renia Davis. Remember the big bucket Renia Davis hit last year against Alabama? She's used to making big plays. Then my next option would be Jordan Horston because of how she finished the quarter, and my third option would be Ray Burrell because she's been making big buckets for Tennessee all season.
Now, Renia Davis has 14 career buzzer beaters. That could be at the end of a quarter, too, but 2 game winners. And again, they're looking at the monitor right now to see if Tennessee touched this or if anybody touched it. Yeah, I think the ball is past Horston when she reaches out. The original call was that no one touched it and it would be Tennessee basketball. Tennessee led by 17 points. Georgia has made them work to get back in the game in the second half.
level, and Georgia got back in this game with their center, Jenna Stady, being on the bench. Mallory Bates and Maury Davenport really did a terrific job of really anchoring the post, anchoring the paint, and then Q Morrison came alive in that third quarter.
Tennessee will get the ball. 3.4 seconds left.
You also have the height of Tamari Key that you could get a lob.
They lobbed it up looking for Davis, and Georgia can just hold it. Georgia completes the comeback, and they win in Knoxville for the first time since 1996. They trailed by 17 points in this game.
What a battle by the Lady Bulldogs. Joni Taylor kept her team composed, got their motivation, got them turned up. The intensity picked up in the third quarter. Their offense got going, and they were able to pull it off.
Q Morrison was huge for Georgia today. 17 points. She had 13 points in the third quarter when Georgia made their big run. Georgia gets the upset. They take down a ranked Tennessee team in Knoxville. Final score 67-66. The Georgia Lady Bulldogs victorious on Rocky Top tonight. Let's get you to Arkansas and Florida with Eric and Christy.